So good afternoon everyone. So welcome back to Wingham Wildlife Park. As I said in the description, today is going to be a slightly different tour. So usually I would just have a wander around the park with you, but today I thought I will try and do something a little bit nice and useful for the kids who are all off. I know it's a Saturday, it's not a learning day, but we'll try something anyway. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about deforestation and our Rainforest SOS area. So we're still going to see animals, don't you worry about that. Now Amanda, if you're watching, so I was challenged to get some footage of Roots, the lynx. So there he is, the little guy. He's being stubborn and still not still not coming out too much, but can you blame him? It's a beautiful day today, so he's out there relaxing in the sun. So that's Roots. He's a Eurasian lynx, so we've just got one male at the moment. He is part of the European breeding program, so hopefully eventually we'll get a girlfriend for him as well. That's completely up to the stud keeper, so that'll be their decision to make. I was going to show you the bears, but Arun is indoors today. And if I go up and see him in the building, as we found out, I think it was yesterday, we don't get any signal in there. So let's see if we can see China. Oh, she's not in her box. I think they're both in the other bedroom, which we can't see from here. So yeah, you can't see it very well, but there we go. So we've got a pair of clouded leopards here. So this little part of the park is called, so we call this Little Himalaya. So it's all of our animals that come from the sort of Himalayan foothills. So with everything that's going on, we haven't worried about changing our prayer flags at the moment, Tibetan prayer flags. So you would usually, they'd be nice and colourful, but there's no point in changing those at the moment. Oh, there, we've missed these every single time I've been up here so far. So here they are. So that is our Asian short-clawed otters. So as I said, we're waiting for a part at the moment to fix their pond filtration system. So that's why their river's not going at the moment. Again, they're chilling out on in the sun. So they live with our binturongs, who are not out at the moment. I'm just going to pop over there and see them for you. Then I'll come back this way. So I don't know if you saw, we've got some education sheets as well on our Facebook page, which you can find on our website. Those are for the kids to download and work through if they want. And that post had a picture of our binturongs, and I know a lot of people wanted to see them. So again, classic binturong pose, chilling out. So those are young from this year, no, last year, sorry, but under a year old still. I always love the way they hang over the side of their logs. And we can't wait to have you all back. It's too quiet over here. So we've actually still already got our flags ready for, so we buy them, get them in bulk, so we don't need to worry about those. We've got plenty of those. So we get them from a fair trade supplier in Canterbury. So all of our fair trade goods that we sell in our shop, they all get gets sourced by Siesta in Canterbury. And those were the binturongs, for everyone asking. No orangutans out. So as I said, this is our Rainforest SOS area. So these are not plants that we've got here, but what we've tried to do, we'll be going to the giraffes right at the end. I'm going to try and keep you all interested in learning by tempting you with giraffes at the end of it. So when we think of endangered species, quite often we forget about plants. There's so many plants that are critically endangered or extinct in the wild, extinct altogether. So that's why we've got these signs here. I'm glad you managed to see him, Nikki. So the dinosaurs are all hibernating at the moment. They're all sleeping. So we use a lot of wood in our park, and we think that it's a sort of nice soft material for the animals. But we do always make sure to use FSC certified woods, because the last thing we want to do as a conservation park is to add to the problem of deforestation. But deforestation, so the wood industry is actually just a small fraction of what causes deforestation. So as you come down this way, we've got our squirrel monkeys here. So the reason why we've got these here at the start is that Costa Rica is one of those countries that had a lot of problems with deforestation in the past, but they've actually managed to slightly bounce back. So they haven't got any primary rainforest in the areas that were deforested, but the rainforest is coming back because of their strong ecotourism ties there. Oh, thank you very much, Sophie. Yeah, we use a lot of beef. We can use lamb. Like I said, the only thing that we don't really use is pork, because it's so rich. It can make them a little bit sick. But yeah, anything like rabbits, chicken, pheasants, all those sorts of game meats are absolutely fine. So next time you're here, if you check out all of the signs on the way down, it actually tells a story about deforestation, and on this side it tells a story about palm oil. So because they are quite interlinked. So our next one here should have been a nice lush enclosure, but our colobus monkeys decided that they had other plans for all the trees. So we had a lot of trees in here. Spent a lot of money on trees in there, and they destroyed them all. So colobus monkeys there from the Congo Basin. So as you can see there, and we tried to show what the rainforest there would have looked like, at least sort of to a little extent. And then the next species down is the black-crested mangabey. So they inhabit a similar sort of part of the world. So they're from the Congo Basin as well. But in that enclosure, what we've tried to do is make it look like the areas where the trees have been cut down. Because the problem is, as soon as you cut down a tree, even if you only cut down one tree, all the trees around it, they also sort of often get destroyed. So there's our colobus monkeys. So they're all having their dinner at the moment. So they are shut in at the moment because they're having their wormers. So they have to have their wormer done regularly, just like we do with sort of dogs and cats and things at home. So as I said, so this enclosure here is made to look like we have cut down the trees and destroyed the forest around it. So this is where our mangabeys live. think they're inside as well because I think they're being wormed. Yeah, there we are. No, we can't see them very well. There we are. So there's a black-crested mangabey. Right, so the giraffes are out and we're going to see them in a minute. But I just wanted to do a little task with some oils. So let's call this play your oils right. So I've got a few bottles of oil here, and each one of these represents how much oil is produced by a certain type of plant per hectare. Right, so there's 6 types of oil there. So I want to have a little bit of interaction from you guys. And if you play along, we'll go see the giraffes in 2 minutes. Right, so I'm going to start with, so we've got avocado oil, which is one of these 2 here. So I just want to see if you guys will play along and let me know in the text here. Do you think that out of those 6, the avocado oil is the one on the right or the one on the left? Is anyone going to have a go? One of them is palm oil. So we've got palm oil, olive oil, rapeseed oil, soybean oil and coconut oil. Cool, so we're going to start with the left for avocado oil. So I'm just going to go by what the sort of general consensus is. Let's go with olive oil next. Is that higher or lower than avocado oil? So we're doing olive oil now. So we're saying that olive oil is there next to avocado oil. Cool. Right. Palm oil. So this is the most productive oils. You got the least productive down here on the left, the most productive on the right. So I know that where you guys are. Palm oil, are we saying higher or lower than olive oil? Just let the chat catch up for a bit. Right, so we're going up here. Are we going to say top or bottom out of these 3? Let's say highest. All right. And rapeseed oil. Higher or lower than avocado? Right, so I think a lot of people are saying that rapeseed is going to be higher than palm. Right. This is a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. I have to find a better way to do this one time. Right, so I've got 2 left now. So if we say, so I've got soybean and coconut. So let's go for, what do we think is the lowest out of these two? Number one, soybean or coconut, and we'll put the other one in the remaining space. So we're saying soybean or coconut at the bottom. So which one of these, so out of the soybean and coconut, which one do we think is the least productive oil? I think what I need to do next time is do it as polls, because I think the chat is lagging a little bit. Right, so soybean is the lowest, and then coconut here. Right, so let's see how we did. So I can tell you that soybean is the least productive oil. So I believe that is actually the least productive vegetable oil on the planet, but it grows really, really well in countries like America, and so over there's large fields of them, which makes sense to have it over there. Then we've got rapeseed, then olive. Fourth, we've got avocado, coconut is the second most productive, but by a long, long way, palm oil is the most productive oil there is. So at the top end we did fairly well. We got the one right at the bottom right as well. The reason why I wanted to show that is that a lot of people say that palm oil is sort of the evil oil, and in many ways it is, but it is actually the lesser of, I think, something like 30 or 40 evils. So there's a lot of vegetable oils out there. Out of all of the vegetable oils that we can produce, palm oil is by far the most productive oil there is. But what we need to do, the reason why it's so bad for the environment, is that there's so many people who grow it unsustainably. So rather than boycotting palm oil altogether, because at the moment, especially with tropical climates, for the amount of space that they need to produce this much palm oil, they need 2 plantations of coconut oil. So what we need to do is try to focus on sustainable palm oil rather than no palm oil. And that's a really, really important thing to think about. So they're not out at the moment. We've got the orangutans. So orangutans are are really, really affected by deforestation. So in Borneo, there's only about 50% of their rainforest is left. So I've got about 2 minutes left, and then we'll go see the giraffes. And there's about 6 million hectares. So that was about 10 years ago. 6 million hectares of palm oil plantations. So you can imagine how much oil that is. But 6 million hectares, that's a quarter of England. So a size area, quarter of the size of England, is taken up with palm oil plantations in Borneo. And that's why the orangutans over there are in so much trouble. But if we think about, if you then were to take out palm oil production and replace it with, for example, coconut oil, you've then got 12 million hectares of plantations for the same amount of oil. So it's really important to look at using foods which contain sustainable palm oil. Now at the moment, I'm just talking to you about this. I know that at the moment it's very, very, very difficult to actually live by those rules. At the moment, I know, especially I know it for myself, so I'm guilty of it as well. We're just having to buy whatever we can. But when this is all over, have a think about what you're buying, and if you see something that has no palm oil, brilliant. If you see something that you know has got sustainable palm oil, that's even better. So at our park we use 100% sustainable palm oil in all of our products. So that's for animals and for people. That's something that we've been trying to do for the last year or so. So palm oil is in a lot, basically. It really does. It is the most used vegetable oil in the world. And as I said, as long as it's grown sustainably, it's not as evil as it seems. I don't think we're ever going to stop using vegetable oils in our products, but I think vegetable oils are probably in a good 75% or so of products in supermarkets. Right. So I think you're probably all bored of my palm oil talk now. So I'm going to show you the giraffes. I'm going to keep talking to you about sustainability while you watch them. So yeah, so with palm oil, the giraffes have gone shy. It's not always listed as palm oil. There are, because with new rules out, it's meant to be listed as exactly what it is, but they do get away with a few different names. So there's palm oil, palm kernel oil, palm fats, then various other names as well. Most of the time it is listed as palm oil though, so it's quite easy to see. But something that's not listed is whether it is sustainable or not. As I said, it's important as well not to so we got giraffes, must be coming up to 2 weeks ago now. So we've got no other big builds planned right at the moment. So I do agree that RSPO palm oil, it's not as well policed as it should be by a long way. So that's something that we are actually, if you have a look on our website, we are campaigning to do more. So we've got some letters there, which some open letters which we've sent out to RSPO and also to some supermarkets as well. So I agree that there's a lot more that can and needs to be done. But as I said, the problem is if you move over to a different type of vegetable oil, the amount of space which is needed to produce it is just immense. And one thing that will never happen is that those farmers over there, if they are to stop palm oil, they will have to move over to using a different type of oil. And I don't know any way that we would be able to stop that or support them with that. So those giraffes are coming up to 3 years old. They're actually only 1 day apart. So we've got Rudy on the right there and Robin on the left. So Robin's the smaller one, he's a day younger than Rudy. Hi TJ and Amy Louise. And there's a Blessbock. So we're just waiting for the girlfriend for him to come as well, so he's on the stub book as well. So there's a few links on our Facebook page and our website as well for the Amazon wish list. And the response we've had to that is absolutely amazing. We can't thank everyone enough for the support we've had with that. I've got another big delivery to look at in a minute. Yeah, they've settled in really well, so they're still a little bit jumpy when they're outside, when they hear someone coming. Yeah, so if you wanted to order stuff from somewhere else and have it sent over, that's absolutely fine as well. So for us to make a wish list, the Amazon page is the easiest one to use, but also we do know that it's not necessarily the cheapest, so you're more than welcome to have a look around. We're not, at the moment, it doesn't matter which brands we use or anything like that. Hi Mia. Oh, where's my chat gone? Oh, there we are. So I did just see a message a minute ago about someone who's celebrating their birthday as well, but I've lost that message. So if you want to put your name down there again. Yeah, the keepers are doing an absolutely brilliant job. Well, they always do a great job with us. We can't complain about our keepers at all. Especially at the moment, that they are really stepping up and doing a really good job. Obviously our team is a little bit smaller than it usually would be at the moment. So for the person else, that's a blessbok down the bottom up there with the giraffes as well. So that's a type of antelope. Alright, shall we pop inside and have a look, see if we can see the orangutan, because they're inside at the moment. So we've got Rothschild giraffes. Right, I'm just going to go inside to see if we can see the orangutans. Oh, someone's 70. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Let's just see the. So I don't know if I pronounce it right. So I'm guessing it's an I. So Abel's. Anyway, happy 70th birthday anyway. I do apologise. So here we've got Jin and Molly. So that's Jin on the right, and Molly's just covered herself back up on the left. So giraffes have been here for coming up to 2 weeks. And the orangutans, most of our orangutans are around sort of between 8 and 9 years old. So we've got 3. So you've got Belayan on the other side there as well. Yeah, they're being a bit shy. So I'm not going to go over to see Belayan because I know that I don't get any signal over that side. Right. So we have another quick look at the giraffes. And I'm going to head off. So tomorrow we've got, I think it's a penguin talk and feed. So we're going to see the penguins. And then on Monday we're going to see the ring-tailed lemurs, and then I've got another tour of the park. So we'll just have another wander around. Next time I'll try not to make it too educational. I'm going to try and do a few more educational bits for the kids, especially because, like I said, they're off school at the moment, but I know that a lot of them, they do still really want to learn. So it might not always be everyone's cup of tea, but we will see what we can do. Like I said, we've got a few animal talks coming up as well. Alright, let's see if we can get a little bit close. There you go. And there they are. Alright, so as I said, with that gorgeous face, I'm going to say see you later, and we'll be back tomorrow. They won't be playing with bubbles tomorrow, but we will be feeding them tomorrow. So thanks for joining us. See you later.